Right?
Opposition leader Mark Golding recently announced a shadow cabinet shuffle which combines new faces alongside seasoned politicians. Political commentator Lloyd B. Smith zooms in to give us his take on this move. Good morning, Lloyd B. Smith. How are you?
Good morning to you both. I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome having you. So let's start. Before we get into individual things, I want to ask, is it the right moment for a shuffle?
I think not. It ought to have been done already. And I say this against the background that we are now in an election mode. The local government elections are due very, very shortly, to be followed by the general elections. And so, in terms of the policy directions of a PNP, those should have been out there already and being discussed and being debated. At this stage, it becomes almost like a sideshow because the voting public would be now more interested in what is being offered by both parties. Because as you know, despite the fact that it is a local government election, traditionally in Jamaica, local government elections are like a referendum to which people relate in terms of which party they think ought to be the government. It's a litmus test. And so I don't think at this point in time it's going to be a distraction. And already it is a distraction, Also, I want to stress that from my point of view, the term shadow cabinet is a bit of a misnomer. And I say this, originally, as you know, we have adopted the British system of government. And originally, a shadow cabinet was really what it was supposed to be, shadowing the government ministers. The word shadow, if you think of even a detective following, something around it, shadowing. That was what it was originally meant to be. Over the years, we have tinkered with this concept of shadow cabinet and use it in a very, hear 'em, scare 'em way. I mean, every time a shadow cabinet is announced, portfolios are changed or added on to or are no longer there. It's very confusing. It's like the manifestos that the parties put out. It's merely cosmetic. They never achieve much in terms of determining where the party goes in an election campaign.
So, Lloyd, may I ask you how you read it, based on what you've said at the start, based on Dahlia's question then, you think the timing is bad. How do you read it? Is this a knee-jerk reaction? Is this a move of desperation? If you listen to the polls in the lead up to this year, the PNP has been gaining ground. So it's interesting that there's a shuffle. Some polls have them tight, some polls have them ahead, but they're definitely gaining ground. So how do you read this shuffle at this point in time?
Well, as I said before, it's untimely. Secondly, it's definitely going to ruffle feathers within the party itself. There are going to be those persons who are not happy with what has taken place. There are going to be those persons who would have preferred a different slate, and that certain persons should have been left out and certain persons put in. And when you look at 26 spokespersons, if this is a cabinet in waiting, it is ridiculous. Jamaica needs not to have 26 ministries. We need to begin to look at a lean and mean government approach. And what I would have preferred is that the party should move away from, as I said, this concept of shadow cabinet to just presenting to the nation a cadre of spokespersons who would then focus on policies. When you project these people as, ministers in waiting, let's face it, we have 63 seats in the parliament. If you have a 26 member cabinet. Look, the idea from some time now, even from the Rex report long ago, is that we should have core ministries so that the majority of members of parliament should be working in their constituencies. The way in which government is constructed now is that if you are not a minister, you don't have no say. You can't get anything done in your constituency. So everybody wants to be a minister or a minister of state. This level of bureaucracy is not good for a small country, developing country as Jamaica. And don't forget too, the whopping salary increases. If we join that with what the councillors are going to be paid as of April and what the MPs and the ministers are going to be paid, we are going to end up with some inflationary problems down the road. Mm-hmm. So I think there needs to be greater thought into this whole business of ministries, portfolios, and that we need to tighten the bureaucracy and not just be providing jobs for the boys and indeed for the girls.
All right, Lloyd B. Smith, we never have enough time to unpack these things. We have to go because I know you must have some comments on some of the individual persons who have been placed here, but we have to go. Yes, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
You're most welcome. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Political commentator Lloyd B. Smith. Still to come in our Girl Talk segment, we're discussing the changes in body and beauty ideals. Have there been?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after we check in with the news. Soon come.